Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. My name is Ken Grams. I am with Kinetic Group and streaming live from the Caribbean coast here between Cartagena and Barranquilla. And what I'd like to do, at this time is kind of share with you a little bit about my background, as well as why I'm here, and part of it is a story while living in Miami, Florida. This was now almost 30 years ago. Met a gentleman who was doing all of the importing for Volkswagen at that time, and had an opportunity to get to know him and travel to um, Colombia and Bogota at that time. And during that visit, I just fell in love with the people, the culture, the enchanted component of Colombia, of all the natural beauty. And then about 5 years ago, uh, looked at Colombia in a different perspective. I had been in banking and finance in the United States for 20 plus years, and part of that timeline became an expert in distressed assets and speaking nationally to banks and financial institutions on how to reposition their portfolios, how we would say in Texas, how to put lipstick on a pig related to a distressed asset. And then as I wore that hat inside of Colombia, we just looked at a lot of different opportunity as an emerging market, and the emerging industries that are here became pretty compelling. And so we built a small team around real estate, something that you can touch, and saw a lot of opportunity here with different markets. And really the different markets primarily had to do with between Barranquilla and Cartagena. And in traveling into this area now for 20 plus years, there is literally billions and billions of dollars that is coming into this region between the port city of Cartagena, with over 500,000 visitors through cruise ships and other international flights from around the world. And then also Barranquilla, which is about 2 million people, about 100 kilometers between the two cities. And it hosts uh, Carnival, which is the second largest in the world. It is also a port town with an industrial component, and the space in between the two over the last 20 plus years has been really neat to see the infrastructure of what's happening. And based on our assessment in this market with Kinetic Real Estate, we're seeing in the next 20 years literally anywhere from $2 to $10 billion of investment coming into this region, of including Cartagena as well as Barranquilla, and then the fill. And so we're calling this the Golden Corridor. And what I'd like to do is kind of walk you through uh, what we're seeing, a little bit about the regions, and we can open this up to some Q&A through chat later, and then also introduce you to one of our guests. So let me go ahead and work through sharing my screen with you as I turn on the slide here. One sec. And as we share my screen, what I'll do is I'll share the entire screen, and with what we're seeing here. So in Barranquilla has become a techno hub to a certain degree. A lot of nearshoring happening in the area, with a number of jobs created, bilingual, with companies coming to the region. And then with Cartagena, it is a top destination, typically in LATAM, not only a top 5 port internationally. Tourism here has been extremely strong due to its geographic location. It's one of the few Caribbean places that I'm excited to share with you that is actually hurricane free as well as grass free. Those that have been to Mexico, to Playa del Carmen, Tulum area, it does tend to get some grass there on different times of the year. That's not the case in Cartagena. And while it's what I would call it's the beginning of the Caribbean, it definitely is not where hurricanes end. It's where they might start and eventually cross over the paths of other areas. So as we go in to share with you what the opportunity is for this market, this is the market that we're focused on, the region, which is Cartagena to Barranquilla, very large port, lots of visitors coming into the Cartagena side of the equation. And then as we go to Barranquilla, the population, the city itself is 1 million. And then as a metro center, it is over 2 million people in the area. About us, we are a boutique advisory firm. We do have offices in South America as well as U.S. and in Latin America. Our team is multicultural in that regard, and multicultural from the standpoint of bringing some of the better practices from the U.S. and then also sharing with you some of the cultural aspects of the markets that we're in as well. As I look at the agenda, I want to be cognizant of our next step. In the areas between Barranquilla and Cartagena are served by 2 major international airports. One is at Cartagena, which is just outside of the walled city, about 10 minutes, with a new international airport that's being put in the next 3 years. That's scheduled, and that will help extend the current capacity of 9 million visitors to over 20 million visitors in the coming years. Barranquilla Airport, it's about 60 minutes from where I'm at right now, and that is currently finishing a major renovation as well to handle more passengers. What I like to do is share with you just some of the different types of assets that are in this market. And let me pull that up. As I look for that's the power of being live with any type of event. I'll go ahead and get that pulled up in a second. We'll come back to that particular component of the particular assets here. We are seeing whether it's residential communities, hospitality, hotel properties, raw land for development, or simply just repositioning a stalled project, commercial buildings, apartment buildings, a full buffet of activities that for a real estate investor. And when I say a real estate investor, it would typically be a accredited investor, somebody that's had experience investing in real estate. I would say our sweet spot for dealing with individual investors is probably a $1 to $10 million range. And while larger institutional type investors or lenders might be focused on $5 to $20 million, upwards of 100, depending on the type of project that we're working with. And so as I look to pull up an example of the types of different properties I can share with you guys a little bit later, those slides. But what I like to do is walk you through a relationship that we have here in the Caribbean coast between Cartagena and Barranquilla. And let me pull that up for you here and share screen. So where I'm currently situated and mentioned to you before is an area called Santa Veronica Tubará, and it is from Barranquilla about 55 kilometers from that airport. And as far as this zone, we call it a zone because it's probably from where we're at, 15 minutes one way and 15 minutes a different way along the Caribbean coast. The Cartagena airport is about 80 kilometers away, and it'll be less distance when the new international airport comes in that particular area. The project we would like to present with you guys today, and also we have a guest here, Pedro Palacio, that would like to speak about the project, is a residential community on 75 hectares, which is about 185 acres. And Pedro, with his team and the investors, acquired the land years ago. And one of the things that got us excited with this is it's an actual physical project that's in process. They started the project just before the pandemia with their phase 5 on 18 hectares, and phase 1 of the 5 phases on 18 hectares, 218 residential lots. And the image that you're seeing here is actually of the entrance. It's not a rendering. It is the actual entrance to the property. And so the original design and vision behind that, I'll kind of hold off on it, but what got us excited is the infrastructure that is put in. Services below ground, the amenities, and the community is very pretty from a standpoint of expectations that we have seen maybe in the United States or in other markets outside of Colombia. And the boundaries, as you look at the project, is 75 hectares, and as a bird flies, about 90 meters from the Caribbean Ocean. So beautiful rolling hill property, has a freshwater stream that runs through the property. And the original plan is being revisioned as well as repositioned. And if you look towards the bottom of the screen, those residential lots towards the bottom is the first phase of the residential community. This is a draft master plan. We know it's going to have a few different gyrations over the coming months as it gets re-envisioned with the right partners. But what we have seen in this area is there are extremes that we've seen for types of products between Cartagena and Barranquilla. They are either high-end, 5-star type residential that makes it unaffordable for those of us in the U.S. and Europe, just from the standpoint of the masses, and those that are here domestically within Colombia, definitely out of reach for probably 95% of the residents that are here. So really a finite market. And what attracted us with Makana once we were introduced with them is they have a product and a community that we feel embraces not only the domestic market, which at this point encompasses about 75% of their current sales. It also has attracted international attention from the U.S., North America, as well as Europe, on being just a great, affordable price per square meter, topography, proximity to both Cartagena and Barranquilla with the airports. And part of the Makana with the phase 1 to 5. It is an expanse of 75 hectares. The considerations that we're looking at now is to provide more of a mix. We're seeing the demand based on feedback from the Makana team of not just single family homes, but also multi-family, condominiums, those homeowners and people that have other residences in other countries and states and parts of the region aren't necessarily inclined to want to mow the lawn every Sunday afternoon. And so we're seeing a need with retirees looking to have a large apartment to either lease or to buy, and then have a club type atmosphere with the residents. And so the considerations that we're looking at, and as we look to introduce Pedro, is a mixed approach. We're talking based on the current footprint, targeting approximately 375 residential lots, single-family homes, between condominiums or multifamily apartments, depending on the repositioning approach, over 1,000 units there. And then the component for commercial with a residential club, as well as a beach club and the club on site for recreational activities and amenities. And then a Makana Plaza that would have a mall feature for people that can do shopping and market, pharmacy and things in need there. And so those are the current considerations for Makana. So what I'd like to do at this point is, as I grab the agenda, please bear with me, is introduce to you Pedro, and what we can do in this point, we'll do Spanish as well as English. And those that might have some questions, please feel free to send a chat, and we will look to answer the questions. But we put forth some questions, and I'd like to introduce you to Pedro Palacio, and we'll do Spanglish at this point for those that are on the call, and then we can do also follow up in the coming days to, if we are flying at 10,000 meters or 30,000 feet, we can definitely have detailed dialogue and conversation as to the project itself, the pro forma, the numbers, site reviews, project reviews, corporate governance, all the exciting things that bankers and funding sources like to see. So at this point, what I'd like to do is I'll ask Pedro to see if he can come on, and we'll share that with him. So one second here. Entonces, bienvenido Pedro, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, good morning and good afternoon, the person who lives here. I congratulate you with this program. Stay here for a minute, presentation with Makana, enough for you.
No, muchas gracias, Pedro. Yo sé que el mundo está cambiando mucho y esta es la primera vez para mí para estar de parte de ese programa por Kinetic. Es algo para gente para conocer a ti, conocer el sitio. Entonces, estamos hablando de Makana en este momento. Vamos a hablar un poco Spanglish. Si tú puedes compartir la inscripción detrás de la creación de Makana y cuáles características o principios únicos fueron importantes en su diseño y desarrollo.
Sí,
let's see how I do with translating that. Basically, the question was, can you share the inspiration behind the creation of 𝐾𝐚𝐬 and which unique features or principles were important in its design development? And mainly, the feeling is wanting to rescue the concept of Latin neighborhood where neighbors can interact with each other. I'm getting some feedback on your voice. So and so the amount of greenery within the area was important to incorporate, and so that is throughout the project, and we'll put up the website in a minute. Let me make sure I can turn on the chat here. Well, it's nice having friends that are in other countries with WhatsApp sending questions in. But we do have chat that is included now. Let me make sure it's okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Our U.S. Patriots. Y Pedro, pregunta cómo ha evolucionado 𝐾𝐚𝐬 desde su inicio y qué desafíos y éxitos han dado forma a su crecimiento.
Okay. Muy buena pregunta.
So as I look to not only translate that, but try to maintain the integrity of Pedro's answer, the question is, how has 𝐾𝐚𝐬 evolved since its inception? What challenges and successes have shaped its growth? And as we get his feedback, solving some of the intricate systems and permits and licensing required to create a condominium, as it's called, in here as well as other places, pose a significant challenge. At this moment, express great joy in what's been achieved and how the dream of clients have different living spaces now that allows for various growth. And life projects materialize more day by day, and it's neat to come visit the project here and develop and see all that has changed. And it looks like we might have lost the video for Pedro, so we'll see if we can get him back on one sec here. And as I look to get to the next question. So, entonces, Pedro, en cuanto a la sostenibilidad y impacto ambiental, ¿qué iniciativas o innovaciones ha adaptado 𝐾𝐚𝐬 para crear un espacio de vida más respetuoso con el medio ambiente.
Sí, importante pregunta y sobre muy sano, que aquí en Macaná lo vas a lograr porque el medio ambiente te lo va a permitir.
Well, what's fun about a live event is also getting feedback on how the studio is being managed. So let me see if I can not only repeat, but as we continue learning from this live event, it's not necessarily amusing, but it's at least a learning opportunity. So the question to Pedro was regarding sustainability and environmental impact. What happens? What initiatives or innovations has McKenna adopted to create a more environmentally friendly living space? And so I understand that the sound went out just a couple minutes after he started. And so I'll give you the feedback, but basically, 50% of the urbanized area is dedicated to green zones, and it's filled with vegetation and trees, creating a special climate within the community, as we can almost see behind me, just briefly with the pool here. But so 50% is dedicated to green areas. All the power and Wi-Fi cables, water, everything is underground, allowing for better landscape and freedom for the nature, and as well as the community to enjoy seeing green and not wires and such. And so as we move to the next question, what I'll do is I'll put the question first in English, and then we'll do it in Spanish and see how this goes. Pedro, we know community participation is crucial in residential developments. Can you highlight some initiatives or events that have successfully brought residents together or fostered a sense of community in Macana? And let's see how I do my Spanish here. La participación comunitaria es crucial en los desarrollos residenciales. ¿Puedes resaltar algunas iniciativas o eventos que hayan reunido con éxito a los residentes o fomentado un sentido de comunidad en Macana?
Sí, gracias por la pregunta. El 70% o un poco más de las personas que trabajan en las actividades locales de construcción y de desarrollo de proyectos son de la comunidad, viven acá en el entorno inmediato, cercano. Eso solamente por mencionar, digamos, una parte de lo que es nuestra integración con la comunidad. Adicional a eso, tenemos proyectado y diseñado y ya aprobado en licencia del municipio la construcción de un centro comercial pequeño que le va a servir a la comunidad. Este centro comercial tiene la particularidad, va a tener la particularidad de que en su zona de plaza de comidas va a haber una exposición permanente, un museo de la tribu Mocana, que es una tribu que vivió y vive algunos eh, eh, partes de ellos en la zona. Una tribu muy legendaria que hizo parte de todas estas tierras, fue lo que desarrollaron todas estas zonas en las cuales habitamos hoy en día y tienen una cultura muy bonita, digna de resaltar. Eso lo vamos a exponer en el Museo Mocaná, el cual va a estar abierto las 24 horas del día, los 365 días del año, para que sea disfrutado no solamente por la comunidad nuestra, sino por toda la comunidad de la región, Barranquilla, Cartagena e incluso toda Colombia. Esta tribu tiene unas culturas ancestrales, alimentos, tejidos, tienen unas actividades muy de orfebrería y de fabricación del barro que estarán expuestas permanentemente. Eso pues también nos dará una integración, no solamente nosotros como Macaná y las personas que viven y habitan Macaná en la, hacia la comunidad, sino que también va a permitir que la comunidad como tal se integre con nosotros. Otro aspecto también que hemos desarrollado, en el cual se está trabajando en alianza con los alcaldes de los municipios cercanos, es preparar y capacitar a las personas en el lenguaje inglés para que sirvan de apoyo a todas las actividades que se realicen acá, ya que como lo dijo Ken hace un momento, el 30 o 40% de las personas que nos han comprado y que son nuestros clientes en este momento provienen del exterior y muchos no dominan la lengua española. Entonces estamos también capacitando a estas personas no solamente en el lenguaje inglés, sino también en la atención al cliente y darle un buen servicio y prestación a nuestros futuros clientes.
Well, what's obvious here is I'm not a professional translator, so I won't pretend that I'm going to professionally translate all of that. But basically, the community participation really is, as far as who's arriving here, is it's about 70% from within the country and about 30% from outside of the country. And that change has been since COVID. So prior to COVID, there were a lot of domestic sales, and what happened since COVID within the community is there's been a shift. There's been a shift for those of us living in North America and Europe, looking for quality of life, looking for value, looking for quality, and so as Makana has gone from a community that is uh, diverse, it has gone even more so diverse with what has transpired with the residents that are now working at, as well as acquiring property within the area. There are plans to build a museum that is dedicated to the local tribe here. I know that, as well as a commercial Makana Plaza for retail activities to support not only this community, but also the community at large. Within 15 minutes of here, there's about 30,000 residences. And so being active within the community and having participated as to what needs are there from either a retail standpoint or certain community is something that I know that's big to Makana, Pedro, and the team. As we go to, I think the next question, I believe really like to get your feedback, Pedro, as a founder architect. How do you see the future of residential communities evolving, especially in response to the changing social needs and technology advances? So, como fundador y arquitecto, ¿cómo ves el futuro de las comunidades residenciales evolucionado, especialmente en respuesta a las cambiantes necesidades sociales y avances tecnológicos?
Sí, considero que el ser humano es gregario por naturaleza. Muchas civilizaciones de pronto nos han cambiado, la perspectiva y nos tratan de alejar y de hacernos un poco separados. Pero cuando uno vive en ambientes tropicales como este trópico caribe, Barranquilla, Cartagena, se vive mucho más la integración del ser humano. Los seres humanos somos gregarios y por lo tanto creo que estamos llamados a estar juntos. Y eso pues está demostrado de que la unidad y la comunidad y la vida en común, participativa, en este tipo de comunidades logran prolongar mucho más la vida del ser humano. Entonces, aquí en Macaná vamos a lograr nuestra expectativa de que se logre la integración de muchas culturas y el ser humano como tal nos dé eso, la posibilidad de hacer crecer las relaciones entre la comunidad unos con otros y que la vida se logre prolongar la longevidad de que hemos venido hablando. Creo que es súper importante que se comience, no podemos pretender llegar a ser longevos cuando ya tenemos 80 años. Necesitamos desde ahora, estamos jóvenes con 60, 50 años, poder comenzar a crear una cultura de vida sana, de vida saludable, no solamente con el ambiente pues aquí ya está garantizado, aquí tenemos un clima espectacular, tenemos 9 meses de sol intenso y los otros 3 meses son de sol mediano, brisa, lluvias, en fin, tenemos un clima muy agradable para vivirlo, que eso digamos está garantizado de por vida, esperamos, y que solamente nos falta es un espacio como Macaná para reunir a las personas y que convivan, hacer la convivencia. La vida en convivencia está demostrado, nuevamente lo digo, que prolonga la vida. Nos alarga mucho más la vida, nos da muchos más motivos para vivir, muchos más motivos para realmente disfrutar. Aquí en Macaná, pues, y las nuevas comunidades que se están formando, creo que eso es lo que están buscando. Realmente no solamente vivir, sino también aló. Okay. Disculpen, una interrupción. No solamente lograr la integración de las personas con un proyecto como este, que su diseño como tal y la apertura hacia las terrazas, hacia las calles y la integración de los vecinos que va a permitir mucho más longevidad, nos va a permitir vivir los días muy alegres. No solamente se trata, creo yo, que unas comunidades traten solamente de vivir y crecer. Creo que estamos buscando que las nuevas comunidades, los arquitectos, los constructores, estamos dedicados a hacer vivienda de este estilo. Lo que queremos realmente es hacer nuevas comunidades que permitan que las personas disfruten no solamente del paisaje, no solamente de cosas bonitas que ya están garantizadas aquí, como el mar, la brisa, el sol. No solamente eso, sino que podamos convivir unos con otros. El hecho de convivir y diferentes culturas en un mismo sitio, creo que nos va a permitir, y está demostrado, que eso nos logra prolongar la vida y hacer una vida mucho más feliz cada día. Eso yo creo que es el objetivo, digamos, de las nuevas comunidades, como la nuestra, como la de Macaná. Queremos lograr eso. No sé si con eso respondimos la pregunta, ¿qué?
Well, let's. Well, I won't even attempt to. I won't even attempt to translate all of that. So, really, on the questions as founder architect, how do you see the future residential communities, especially related to social needs and changes? And feedback is human beings are inherently social, especially in tropical environment like ours. That's why he believes that Makana, the conditions that are being created for community, offers free individuals allow to connect with each other, grow in an area of privilege of the majority that the community offers as far as quality of life and as well as the natural beauty. What I'd like to do, since I believe there was an issue with the initial question and it being heard, one other time, can you share, Pedro, the dream, the sueño, la inspiración de Makana, dream, and share one more time on what you saw, and then maybe what you're seeing with the future, because I would like to share with con la gente para mañana. Entonces, ¿cuál es su inspiración, el sueño en principio? Y mañana, ¿cuál es que estás mirando? ¿Cuál es el sueño futuro de Makana?
Sí, el sueño inicial, como lo comentaba hace un momento, como arquitecto y como persona preocupada por la civilización, es lograr unas comunidades que lleguen a integrarse unos con otros, los vecinos lleguen a conocerse. En Latinoamérica hay una tradición que se ha perdido en las grandes ciudades, es de la vecindad, la relación de vecinos, la comunidad. Los vecinos terminan siendo parte de la familia. Vecinos son importantes para cada evento que sucede en cada una de las familias. Se ayudan, se complementan, se dan la mano en los momentos difíciles. También se alegran con las alegrías de cada uno de los vecinos, y estos vecinos logran hacer una relación bastante fuerte, y las personas no se sienten solas. Está demostrado que la soledad es uno de los factores que están matando a la comunidad. Al mundo entero, pues uno de los factores que está enfermando y matando a las personas es la soledad. En el mundo entero, en Europa, en Estados Unidos y en el resto de países muy civilizados, la soledad está haciendo que las personas se enfermen, no está permitiendo que las personas sean felices. Aquí eso es lo que estamos buscando. Inicialmente eso es lo que estábamos, cuando diseñamos el proyecto, está diseñado de tal manera que las personas necesariamente tienen que convivir, por lo menos saludarse en las mañanas y en las tardes cuando salgan a las tardes de su casa, saludarse con el vecino, integrarse. Eso pues es lo que era el sueño inicial. Hoy en día, ¿qué estoy pensando en el futuro? Lo que estoy pensando que no solamente va a pasar, sino que ya está pasando en nosotros, que los vecinos están, no sé si también el clima también lo permite. El clima nuestro, tropical, también permite esto, que los vecinos están comunicándose unos con otros, a pesar de que somos muy pocos todavía no hemos llegado a tener una comunidad tan grande. Ya vemos que a pesar de la distancia y la separación que están los vecinos unos con otros, ellos se están comunicando. Hemos visto cosas muy interesantes, vecinos pasándose fines de semana, comidas. Un vecino prepara una comida y se la lleva al otro vecino, y eso creemos que es la semilla que se logra, que va a lograr, digamos, tener una comunidad realmente integrada. Por lo menos que se den esas relaciones de amistad, esas relaciones que trascienden incluso la amistad y llegan a convertirse así en familia. Eso pues no permite que las personas se enfermen, no permite que las personas estén tristes. Siempre hay algo que hacer, siempre hay algo que ayudar con las comunidades. Y también otra cosa, digamos, importante que vale la pena mencionar aquí es que el hecho de tener tierra física, yo quiero mostrarles aquí, digamos, un pequeño patio de cómo es esta casa que le llamamos laboratorio. Te voy a mostrar cómo es un patio nuestro, pequeño patio, con tierra, con vegetación, con zonas verdes. Miren esta zona. Esto permite que las personas cultivar mire por ejemplo cómo es nuestra vista acá de lo que ya hemos construido, está construido como el sol, está garantizado, eso ya está garantizado y está garantizado de por vida. Lo que es la integración y estamos, como ustedes lo pueden dar cuenta, realmente es una cosa que se está haciendo realidad y que creemos que vale la pena identificando el apoyo del resto de las personas que quieran venir a convivir aquí en Macao. Quédense, con esto hemos respondido la pregunta.
Well, as we look to rein in Pedro and his enthusiasm, it's seeing the enthusiasm not only Pedro but ourselves and those that come to this region of Colombia. And what I'd like to do is test some technology and then open up some questions, and then of course via email as well, available to connect with those that are here for I'll put my email out as well. Let me do this. Let me share just a brief clip on the current Makana, which is a short clip, and then we'll go to some questions. So let me go ahead and share my screen. As we put the player on here, let's see how we do here. So coming back. Looks like, yeah, I'm gonna have to show the whole screen. There we go. Our screen. looks like the whole screen sharing is not working. Gotta love live. Maybe this will help here.
Entonces, si me sacas a mí, colocarla. Puedes colocarlo.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, I think we're making progress here. Let's try this again. All right. So I'll share the link. I'll share the link with everybody on, but it's a short clip about the current Makana and the progress that's been made, some of the vision of the amenities and the common areas. And so I'll get that out right now. It's just a short intro. Do that before noon my time. So Pedro, as we look to wrap things up here, I want to thank you and your team's time. Again, we do have project briefs for the team as well as area opportunities. We'll also get out and share with those that have expressed interest to not only Makana, but also this golden corridor. Again, it's between commercial activities of shopping centers, office buildings, apartment buildings, condominium projects, residential communities, hotels, a full buffet of different types of investment opportunities. I would say typically anywhere from $1 million to $10 million can make a big impact in this region. And then on larger commercial projects like Makana, anywhere from $5 million to $100 million would be the typical target for whether it's a community, mixed-use development, and then with funding available, participation with some domestically, while the vast majority on funding is international. So not seeing any text questions at this time. I will go ahead and put on the screen again the Makana website as well as my email. It's @ksgroup @kineticgroup.com, and then Makana's website to go see some of the activities that they have and some of the community components. Please check them out as well. I want to thank everybody for being here and hanging in there on our technical, we'll call it opportunities to work through in the future. Thank you, Pedro, very much for your time. And with that, I'm getting a nice feedback here and faces from our team. Again, thank you guys very much. I would say from a standpoint of communication on WhatsApp as well as email, and look forward to reconnecting with those that are on the call and getting a little more detail what's happening in the corridor. Thank you very much for your time and make a great day. Gracias a todos.